When I was 6 years old, my great uncle got a pool table in his basement. And of course, I would come over and he would ask me to play. And that was really my first experience playing, was in his basement. One day when I was about 18 or 19, I went up to the old Northgate. Now, I'd never seen what a real pool player was. So I thought I was pretty good. You know, I could make 3 or 4 balls in a row in my great uncle's table in the basement. And, you know, I went to a real pool hall and saw some guys that were real good players, and I thought, wow, you know, that's incredible. I had never seen anybody spin the ball before. You know, the first time you see a good player, you will see how they move the cue ball around. They know how to play the rails. They know how to draw the ball, which is to make it come backwards, make it go forwards. The first time you see that, it's like, wow, you know, this is really incredible, because you think it's just about hitting the ball so that it goes in the pocket. But the real beauty of the game is moving the cue ball around. And that time I went up to Northgate was the first time I ever saw that. And that really hooked me. I started going up there. I started watching the good players, started practicing, you know, how to draw and follow the balls, and just really got into it. I've played everywhere. I've played in Europe, I played in Asia, I played all over the U.S. I've won a lot of tournaments, and when I go into a place, I've got my cue, I've got plenty of spending money, and I always go right up to the best player in the place, and even sometimes pro players. You know, I played a lot of the top pros. I played several world champions, and you know, if they'll play cheap, let's say a set, which would be a race to like 7 games, for example, for $20. Now, I know I'm going to lose, but I love the opportunity to play those guys. I played in an open tournament in Nashville. This was would have been about 10 or 12 years ago, and at the time, Johnny Archer was the world champion, and I drew him in the first round at the tournament, and we played on the head table where the bleachers were. And nobody really knew who I was. But I was playing pretty good at the time, and I actually won the lag against Archer, and I remember this thing starting out, and here's a crowd full of people, and thinking, wow, you know, here I am playing in Nashville, and I've got the current world champion racking the balls for me. And it was a race to 7. I broke dry, and he ran out. Then he broke dry, and I ran out. And I never missed a ball up until where the score was 2-2. And I just remember, you know, here's the current world champion, and it's 2-2. Anyway, he got the 3rd game, and he broke and ran out the set on me. So it ended up being 7-2. So, I mean, I really made one mistake against him, and it cost me the whole match. But there was a point where we were tied in that match, and neither one of us had made a mistake. So, you know, I guess my highlight was playing the world champion at the time and being even with him and not making any mistakes up to that point to get there. That was probably my favorite feeling, and it lasted, you know, up until the score was 2-2. Well, here in Galesburg, there was a time, you know, the guy who influenced me the most was a local guy named Tom Peck. And, you know, he was one of the better players here in Galesburg. And he always played up at Northgate around 84, 85. And, you know, he's pretty much given up playing, but he's a guy that if he walks in here, if he hasn't hit a ball for 2 years, he's still capable of beating everybody in the place. You know, he's just a real natural, great player. I think Galesburg is really lucky to have a pool room of this quality because, you know, most towns this size don't have anything like this. And we've got some of the best 9-foot tables in the state. I mean, I don't think there's better tables in Peoria or the Quad Cities as far as the big tables. And, you know, it's a great group of guys. It's a great place to play. The food's good, etc. You know, we're really lucky to have it. And this room has definitely improved the level of play in this town. I mean, if you look around, there's a lot of strong players here. And it's because we've got a good place to play and a good group of players to match up against.